The challenge about explaining the SAP Business Network is that it's something you don't see. It's something you experience. Our clients, either on the buyer side, on supplier side, for example, they do not see pretty much any screens of the business network. They just see the result of using the business network in their own system. I'm going to make some rope with you today. So let's start, for example, with a string. This is a purchase order. Imagine that it's a purchase order. You send a purchase order to a supplier here by PDF, and another one there, and another one there. If you have 5,000 suppliers, this is how you communicate with them. You shoot them a purchase order. It could be also by fax. We see this still a lot. Or if you're in supply chain, maybe it's a bigger pipe. Maybe you send them a lot of purchase order in an EDI. It's a structured format. EDI used to be sent by postal mail, right? It's just structured data, and now it's on the internet. But it's still, you send it out, and it's the end of that story. Imagine I ask you to work on this Excel spreadsheet and make some calculation, but I send you the Excel spreadsheet in a PDF. How useful is this? A purchase order in PDF is the same thing. It's just not very useful in terms of data. An invoice by PDF is also not very useful. The same as an Excel spreadsheet as PDF. We see the world a little bit different. If you go back to this purchase order, you send a purchase order. Basically, you expect a response. You want a confirmation of that purchase order. Has it been received? Do the supplier agree? Can they deliver? That's a flow of communication. You really want to have the back. Let's look at another one, for example. This would be the supplier sending you an advance ship notice to you, telling you when it's going to be delivered. Well, maybe you want to tell them the goods receipt. You've received the goods so that it's a flow again. The supplier can see you've returned two things. Maybe in context of services, you are sending here the statement of work, for example, of something that needs to be done in services. Well, linked to this statement of work, where you want to know maybe the timesheets, you want to know what's been done, which work, what was purchased for this. And finally, well, the most common one, maybe you are receiving an invoice from the supplier, but again, this has an answer. You want to send them information about the payment so the supplier doesn't call you. Those flows, those are the flows of procurement. There are others, but just let's look at those and make some rope. So here we have it, a piece of this rope. Now, this is the business network for procurement. You plug this into your system, and you can connect to all your 5,000 suppliers only with that cable. And on their side, they also use the same principle where they can connect to multiple of their buyers directly from one cable. And because, if you think about it, a purchase order and a sales order is pretty much the same thing. It's just how you call them and how you use them. But in here on the network, we have the purchase order. So when the invoice comes back, we could check, hey, you're changing the price of something on the purchase order. You're not allowed. We can stop it. So that's why we call it intelligence. We can do things on the cable. There are other networks. Let's look at supply chain. This could be a forecast. You send your shopping list, let's say, to your supplier when you need things and when and in which quantity. Well, you might want to know if the supplier can commit to those or to which and to which quantity. Maybe it's partial. A similar thing could be, for example, you let your supplier see your inventory. So when the stocks are low, the supplier can replenish automatically. This is a scheduling agreement. You send this to your supplier to send you things at specific intervals or depending on special rule. And at the same time, the supplier can reply with what they have shipped or sent based on this scheduling agreement. So it's linked. And the last rope, multi-tier supply chain. Now, this is not necessarily just one rope. It's a little bit bigger than this, but you can control let's say, the price of what the supplier of your supplier pays, and further, the supplier of that one below, and even that one further. And you're managing the price of all the different levels of that supply chain. Again, in this way, but on the rebound, all of those people can see what they're allowed to see to make sure that what is being shipped is not actually affecting the others. They all see the visibility into this. So the supply chain in itself is fully functional. And this is the supply chain rope. You plug this, you choose what you want, and instead of all different one-time EDI or high connectivity, typically you restrict them to really just a strategic supplier. You can just go for any one of them because you connect, and in the same way, you get that flow with intelligence on the flow. Again, that multi-tier supply chain is not really possible in a one-off. You have to have something much more collaborative to do this. In the world of logistics and transport, this could be freight collaboration. You want to know how much it costs from this route or this port to this port, and then you get quotes back, and so you can select which one is the best. You can have shipment visibility. That's the cool maps, where you see what is your things on cargo on the ocean. And if something happens, boom, like there is a disruption, there is weather disruption, or there is political or anything like this, you get informed immediately so you can take action. You have the transport execution, how you want things to be transported. And on the reverse, maybe the freight needs to make an appointment at the port of Rotterdam, which is actually just here, to schedule when they are allowed to dock. And the last one is around quality control and tracking. So if anything happens, you can stop it as early as possible to avoid having it trickle down in your supply chain. And here it is, the business network for logistics. Now, in this world, there is a lot of this integration that already exists between the transporters, the ports, and the tax and all this. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We can tap into those networks. But what we do is we bring this to your ERP, so it takes part of your supply chain. And the last network is around equipment, asset management. This is a work order. Come and fix my machine. And on the rebound, you get, yes, it was done. We were able to use this spare part from your inventory, and it took this amount of hours. Or this is all the documentation about that very complicated technological machine, and it was provided, and we have the format so that whenever you answer or you give us information, it needs to be in that structured data so that everybody speaks the same language. This is about collaboration with the manufacturer, the OEM. You have sensors in your machine. Maybe you want to collaborate these sensors to give the information and the data so that they can see, monitor as well, maybe provide upgrades and things like this. When you have a new firmware, it comes this way as well, so you can track if you want to install it or not. And another one that's very cool is the digital twin. This is like 3D version of your equipment. And since it has sensor, you see it in real time. So you can monitor from a computer the real thing as it's going, make simulation, evolution, and things like this. It can be provided by your manufacturer, and then you can give access to this to maybe a service provider. So the business network for asset, it's a little bit like HR for machine. Anything around this machine needs to be tracked and verified. And whenever someone needs to work on it, it needs to have access, documentation, information, work orders, provide information, there will be invoice. And it's that world that transacts on this network. Now, you know that I want to make a last rope, right? The rope of the ropes. So this is the business network of SAP. At the beginning, I said it's difficult to explain. So that's why I made this to make clear that there are 32 different flows here that we've woven together today. But there's many more. And this is what you plug to your system to actually achieve this collaboration. And on the other side, you have millions of participants that can act on this network. And it's not mundane, right? Every single day, there is 15 billion American dollars transacting every day on this network. What is 15 billion? It's about 9 times the fortune of Taylor Swift every day on this network. And that's why the SAP Business Network believes in this connectivity, not just one-off, but something collaborative in all aspects to make it better. And believe me, for a world of AI, it is this kind of data you want to have, not just the trace of a PDF that was scanned.